I was watching this video on YouTube, and it's by a guy. His name is Ryan Pinetta, and he's interviewing this guy named Myron Golden. And I've been following this guy Myron Golden for a couple months now, and this idea that Myron Golden brings up is very, very important, and it's about identity. I haven't even finished this interview. As you can see, I don't even know if you can see, I'm not even halfway through it, but I listened to this and I thought it was so good. I wanted to make a video on it because this is so impactful on what he has to say. My last video, it was on Toy Story and about how we're made in God's image, and what he says in this just complements it so well. And so what he says in this interview, which, by the way, Myron Golden, he's a believer, he's a Christian, he's an entrepreneur, and he helps people basically grow their businesses and grow when it comes to money. He brings up this concept of identity. There's three things. The first is lie-dentity. He says so many people live within this sector. Who you are is not enough. It's all of the lies, it's all of the messages in our lives that people have been pouring into us. You're not good enough at this. You're not good enough at basketball. You're not good enough at communication. You're not. And for me, growing up, I was homeschooled. And so a lot of the time, it was, you're not good enough. You're weird. You're not good at communication. You're not strong enough. And I started to live my life out of this lie-dentity, believing these things about myself. Lots of us live in this first column. We're living out lies that people have told to us, lies about us. The second is my-dentity, and this is the exact kind of opposite of that. And it's people who, I'm just going to read my notes from this video, which, by the way, if you're interested in watching this video, I'll have the video linked down to the full interview and the channel for this guy, so you guys can go and watch that. But the second one, he says, my-dentity. It's a fake identity we create to try and prove to others we are more than they said we aren't. This could be someone who is pretty confident. Someone who looks at someone and says, fine, you say that I'm that, well, I'm going to prove that you're wrong. And they live out their identity in I'm going to prove you wrong, right? I'm going to show you that I actually can. And it's living out this my identity. This is, well, fine, I'm going to prove you wrong, right? I keep saying that, but it's trying to prove to others that we're this great thing, trying to prove to them, prove to ourselves, prove to God. And it's this constant performance of trying to prove to others that we're this thing, that we're this great person. And Myron says the very last thing is we need to live out our identity. And our identity is this. Identity is no more or no less than exactly who God says I am. Identity is no more or no less than who God says you are. That's what it means to live out our identity. It's not believing the lies. It's not trying to come up with who am I, right? Answering that question ourselves. It's looking to God and saying, okay, God, who am I? And then living that out. It's knowing that we're made in God's image. It's knowing that when He made us, He says that we are very good. We're not just good, we are very good. We're made in His image. And this brings up a controversial issue within Christianity today. And there's a lot of people, a lot of believers who sit in this camp of, depravity and brokenness and wickedness. And the only thing, there's nothing good in me, right? There's only Jesus, right? Jesus and there's nothing else inside me that's good. Everything else is bad, evil, wicked. Sit here and try and tread on lightly on this, because without Jesus, we are stuck in our sin. We're broken, and there's no way to get back to God. Jesus died on the cross so that we can have restoration with God, that we can have a relationship with him again. It's only through Jesus that we have that. And we're made in his image. We're called to create. We're called to produce. We're called to go and be creators. He's placed desires and ideas and passions and different things in my life, in your life, for us to go and to pursue. Some of you watching this have ideas for a business or ideas for products and things that will help humanity for the better. Those things are good. Those things are things that God wants you to pursue and run after and to create. But so many times we can get stuck in this bubble of, well, there's nothing good in me, right? It's only Jesus, and there's nothing else. There's nothing else in me that's good. And we can get stuck in this poverty mindset, not financially, right? That comes with it, but this poverty mindset of, I can't make anything good. There's nothing in me, you have an idea and instantly you just think, well, no one's going to buy that. Or, well, I'm a piece of dirt and, it wouldn't be a good idea. But in fact, it actually is. And lastly, something that I struggled with for a very long time was this idea of being the best, right? When you think of being the best, you think this cocky guy on the football team, and he's the best of the best, right? He walks out and his chest is high and he's walking around, doing his thing, and he's cocky, he's prideful and arrogant. But what I've realized is being the best, it's not a competition with others. I'm just going to read this quote from the video. It says, being the best is not competing with others. It's being the best version of yourself. The competition you have in your life is you, because there's no one else like you. There's no one just like you who the Lord has placed desires and things, ideas and things in your life. Your personality, God has made you very specifically. There's no one else like you. So you can't compare yourself to anyone else. But you can be the best version of yourself. You can die to the sin in your life. You can let go of unhealthy patterns and ways of thinking and toxic thoughts and addictions and different things. You can cut those things off and be the best version of yourself and constantly be pursuing that. And it's in that process of doing that you're becoming the best version of yourself. You're being the best. Another word for that in the Bible is sanctification.